Hello everyone, and I just thought I'd mention I think Australian equities could be rolling over. This rally of the last couple of days coming to an end almost as I'm speaking to you. So by the time I put this together and the team puts this together a little bit and we get it out to you, I think you will see further evidence that the Australian stock market is probably topping out about now, and that's because the Australian economy is really entering a substantial downturn setback period. I did call it the Great Australian Setback a few days ago, and I think that's an interesting way of looking at it because we will come out of this, but that doesn't diminish the fact that we are experiencing a negative period at the moment. Now that's brought about, of course, by Omicron, but also Delta is still out there. Unfortunately, in Sydney today, we saw 21 deaths. In Melbourne, we saw 21 deaths. Not nice numbers at all. Very unfortunate indeed. Hospitalizations in New South Wales are up to 2,200 or higher now, and that's likely to trend up toward 3,500, I would suggest, 3,200, 3,500. Now, there's a risk it goes up toward 5,000. The New South Wales Premier today reinstituted some restrictions, and that trend could grow if we hit up towards 5,000 hospitalizations, because at that point the government would simply have to take some action. Or would it? Because, as I did outline, we're going to see voluntary semi-lockdown to full lockdown behavior from large proportion of the population. In fact, some data, and well done to the ANZ, some data by the ANZ is showing that consumer spending at the moment in Sydney and Melbourne really is plumbing lockdown type levels. And in fact, in Sydney, we are currently experiencing pretty much in real-time activity, spending activity in Sydney is at a new low. That is less than the full lockdown kind of numbers we were seeing a few months ago. So the economic slowdown is very real. A lot of empty shopping shelves, and that is still a growing trend, despite the idea that people should now be able to go back to work as long as they're not symptomatic, even if they are a close contact or even if they test positive. What's going to happen though is that a lot of workers don't want to go to work and bring COVID home to their families. So the problem is not going to be resolved the way the Australian stock market rally sort of seems to suggest that people in the market were thinking. No, there's going to be an ongoing supply chain disruption period. It's not going to be 1 week, 2 weeks. It's going to be another 1 month, 2 months, certainly no more than 2 months, I would think, but probably in the 4 to 6 week area, I think could be rather significantly challenging. And so any euphoria about Australian equities is really misplaced at this point. And I think the people who've been buying the market up will begin to get out of those positions rather quickly as we progress. So in terms of markets, I mean, my trade of the day idea would be to buy gold. Just buy gold with a stop way back at 1750 or something. Keep buying gold. It is showing signs of coming to life. I think the euro and the Australian dollar are very keen to test the upside today. And I'd let that run its course a little bit, but I'd be watching it closely for an opportunity to sell those currencies. So a bit of a pullback in the US dollar here, but I think it could be a place to be buying US dollars in the days ahead. As for US equities, very strong over the last couple of days, very strong. The Powell's comments were out of the way, but we still have the headwind of the inflation data on Thursday. That could be even a little bit better than market expectations, but nonetheless is damaging to the economy long term. So there could be a lot of daily volatility, but I think US equities really are still a weak market. Now, a lot of people say, oh, but look at the big rally we've just seen. Well, even with the big rallies of the last couple of days, the US stock market's still well down from its highs, and this does look like just a bounce in what is still, to me personally, it has the look of a very volatile major top formation for US equities which again suggests any Australian stock buying at this point could well prove misplaced. I hope I've helped. All the best. I hope you stay safe and we all get through this as well as possible. Thank you very much. Clifford Bennett, Chief Economist, ACY Securities.